Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video, and today I'm bringing you something I should have brought last year. Now, I used to do this annually, these top 20 character lists that they need to add, top 20 characters they need to add to Tapped Out. I didn't do it last year though. For the reason why I didn't do it last year is, honestly, I didn't think there was enough characters knocked off my list to justify an updated list. But I've kind of been waiting a while and they still haven't really added any characters on my list, so I decided to do this video anyway. And also I've kind of rearranged it a little bit, so there is no more Bender on this list. I used to have Bender notoriously on this list, but the reason why I've got rid of him is honestly, after the whole World's Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow update, but the Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow game came out. Ever since that came out, and also just a few other things, like really kind of seeing other characters that have way more potential, I decided to knock Bender off the list because, although I definitely do want him in the game, and I think it would be kind of cool to get him, just to get Bender, I wouldn't want any of the other Futurama characters, just Bender would be fine. But there is a reason why I want him, is originally he was meant to be added, but there was a whole legal thing and they ended up just not doing it. And so I would like it one day, sure, and it would be awesome if they did it, but at the minute I'm not so bothered. I would say the rest of the characters on this list I would want in the game more. So Bender is now gone off my list. And also I have added something else in the top 3, another character, because I've kind of warmed up to it being a character, we shall say. So the reason why you can see this here, this 12 sort of 13, that is the amount of characters who are repeats. The reason why I say sort of 13 is Bender's obviously off the list. Bender still hasn't been knocked off the list, but as in he's not been added, but he is not on the list, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. What I mean is he's not on the list anymore, but he hasn't been added. So there's 12 characters who are on this list who were on my previous list. And that's kind of quite a lot. I normally like to make sure it's 10, so the list is quite different, but hey-ho, we're going to carry on anyway. This is my top 20 characters they need to add in the Simpsons Tapped Out, updated for the year of 2020. And hell, if they add enough in the year 2020, if we find out that they add loads in 2020 on this list, then who knows? I don't want to make a 2021 updated list when that year comes. So let's go. So number 20 is Jaffee. So I really want this character in the game. Main reason, kids. So they've started to add kids into the game quite a lot. We've obviously had Wendell, we've got Lewis, we've got like Alison Taylor. All of these kids who appear in the background quite a lot have slowly been added into the game. I think Richard is inevitable to be added soon. I agree that he's been name dropped a few times. I think soon enough we're going to get him in the game. I think this year will be the year of Richard. And someone pointed out that we normally get a kid every year. Like one year we got Wendell, and then another year we got Lewis. Last year we got Lewis. The previous year we got Wendell. So it only feels right that we get Richard this year. However, there is another kid that I honestly think is a bit under-talked about, and that's Jaffee. Although yes, I probably would want Richard in the game more than Jaffee, I still think he would be a pretty cool character to get. He's one of these kids who's appeared in The Simpsons for a while. He's been in the background for a long time, so makes sense to add him in my opinion. So number 20 is Jaffee. Number 19 is another kid character, and that's Alex Whitney. The reason why I put Alex Whitney above Jaffee is she actually had a centric episode, so an episode where she actually did stuff. And I thought she was an interesting character. She's not a bully as such, but she's kind of a bully, but she's like a popular kid kind of bully, where she's not like physical, it's more verbal. And I think they could definitely add her and do some interesting quest lines with her and Lisa. Both Jaffee and her I think would be perfect for a kids themed event. I recently did a video on that, so go check it out. And yeah, I think she'd be a really awesome character to get. So that's my number 19, Alex Whitney. Number 18 is Bashir bin Laden, and apparently that is actually his surname. I always thought that was a joke, but I guess it is. Apparently it was confirmed, so his surname is bin Laden. I don't know why they chose that, but whatever. So yeah, Bashir. Same reason for Alex Whitney, I guess, and the reason why he's above Jaffee is Bashir actually had an actual episode centered around him, so I think he's more substantial as a character. The reason why he's above Alex is, I don't know, I think I preferred his episode to the Alex Whitney episode, and he's an interesting kind of character. Of course, I would like his mother and father to be added in the game too, both Amid and Mina, but I think out of the three, I would like Bashir more, because he appears more prevalent. He's actually in the background quite a lot. After his episode aired, he appeared in the background a few times, and I think he still does to this day. So he is like a regular Springfield Elementary student. I do have a update coming soon. I don't know when I'm going to drop it. There is one in the works though. It includes Bashir and his family, so stay tuned for that update. That's going to be coming out eventually. Update idea, I should say, not an actual update. Anyway, moving on. Number 17 is The Very Tall Man. So this is my first. Alex Whitney was a repeat as well on the list. But The Very Tall Man is also another repeat. Yeah, he's just this kind of gag character, I guess. He's like a goofy character, this really, really tall dude. I was really hoping they would do a 22 short films about Springfield event, and I'm still hoping they can. They definitely have enough content for it, I think, to make it a mini event. They could do some whole like steamed hams memes and all that, except steamed clams or whatever. So definitely could do some funny things. And of course, in that short, the Very Tall Man made his debut. So perfect character to add for that kind of event. He's a very kind of funny character, and if they were to add him to the game, I'd expect him to make him very tall. So yeah, it's a Very Tall Man. Number 16. So this is a repeat as well. I've been wanting these guys in the game for so goddamn long. I've been talking about this for like 5 years, I swear. Actually 4 years, I think. But yeah, I've been talking about adding these characters for 4 years, and that's obviously the 7 Duffs. Edgy, remorseful, dizzy, tipsy, surly, queasy, and sleazy. The one that I want the most is Surly, because he actually interacted with Homer, and there were some funny things there. So he's the one I want the most. But the rest of them, I want them in the game too. I would compromise with a 8-in-1 character, although I think that would look weird. But to add, I would like it if they added them as individual characters. And do you know what? I wouldn't even be bothered if they didn't have tasks. I would prefer it if they had tasks, but hell, even if they were NPCs, I wouldn't be so bothered. They're just characters that we have now. Of course, they added those podiums that have them on them, but they don't count. I'm not counting those decorations. They're statues, so they do not count. I want these 7 Duffs as characters. If you want to make them non-playable, fine, but I would prefer that. I imagine they'd make them playable anyway, because let's be honest, the NPCs have really become lackluster in this last year. We literally got one last year. We might not even get one this year, so who knows? But I would like all of them to be added. So yeah. Number 15 is the Weasels. So yeah, I've really kind of warmed up to adding these two guys as well. So the Black Weasel and the White Weasels, they're called by the wiki, which is a bit weird. I'd be fine with them added as a 2-in-1 character. I think that makes perfect sense actually. Just like Jiff and Skiffy. Now a lot of people got annoyed with Jiff and Skiffy being added as 2-in-1. I was completely fine with it because they don't do much. They're just there to like talked about occasionally. They're not like major characters. They are the same as Sherry and Terry essentially, so it makes sense that they're a 2-in-1. The Weasels are the same thing. And plus it's going to be weird trying to name them, so like Weasel 1, Weasel 2, unless they want to name them by their race, which is just a bit weird. So I reckon if they were to add them, they'd add them as a 2-in-1, and I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah, the Weasels, 2-in-1 character, these kind of bullies that always go around Nelson. They could add them in like a kids themed update. I didn't put them in my kids themed update idea, but I definitely I would be happy if they replaced these two with like Cecil Shapiro, or replace these two with Francine. They're definitely, they're kind of interesting characters, and yeah, they appeared early on in The Simpsons. They have actually kind of faded into the background a little bit in recent years, but regardless, I think they could add them, and they could be two pretty cool characters. Number 14 is Barry Mackleberry. Now, the reason why Barry Mackleberry is on this list, and he's actually higher than some of my previous entries, is purely because of the Real Moms of Springfield update. Now, in that update, of course, we got Jerry Mackleberry, who is Barry's wife. Now, this is kind of annoying me a little bit because I kind of want them to complete that family. So, obviously, Sherry and Terry's family, we have their mother, we have Sherry and Terry. I want them to add the father now, just to complete that kind of category, I guess, in a sense, and they can make a Mackleberry family category, hopefully, and to fix these categories which are which are going awfully. I hate the character collections; they're really annoying. They're so out of place. But yeah, they could make a Mackleberry family category, and they could add Barry and Jerry and Sherry and Terry. Yeah, he's a plant worker as well, so they could do some cool stuff with the power plant. So yeah, definitely a cool character they could add. And of course, Martin Prince Sr. That comes after. So I would say out of Barry and Mackleberry, Mr. Mackleberry, I would want Martin Prince Sr. more, just because he's appeared in a few more episodes, I think. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's true, but I generally think he's a cooler kind of character, and I think there's a perfect building he can be added with, and that is the Prince House. Of course, a building that we haven't got, and I really want in the game, so yeah, Martin Prince's house. Yeah, same reason obviously for Barry Mackleberry. His wife is in the game, so he needs to be in the game to complete that kind of family. So yeah. Number 12 is Titania, or Titania. So Titania is this barmaid at Hooters. I think, has Hooters been added? I'm not even sure. But she's a barmaid anyway. I think she's also one of the Duff girls. I think she appears in one like Duff segment with Duffman. She's one of the Duff girls. So she's kind of a prominent-ish character. I find it, she's a bit dipsy. She's kind of funny as well. So I just thought she'd be an interesting character. I don't know why. I've wanted her in the game for a while. Maybe it is her huge breasts. Who knows? It's not. I just think she's kind of a funny character. Anyway, number 11, Sarah Salon. Sarah Salon. So this is, of course, Ned's girlfriend that he has for a while. After a few episodes after Mod dies, blah, 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 he eventually gets with Sarah, and they actually have sex as well. So Ned is not an entirely holy guy. So yeah, kind of a fun character. She had a centric episode. I definitely think she's an interesting character for Ned. If they do some sort of Ned Flanders update, they could definitely add her. Many different options they could do. But yeah, overall, I think she would be a cool addition to the game. Number 10 is Larry Burns. Quite enjoy his episode, and I think they definitely have a mini event potential out of it. I would like to see him in the game anyway. I think he's a cool character, kind of a quirky, doofy kind of dude. And I think they could definitely do some interesting questlines with him. But there's definitely massive potential for a mini update with his episode. So, main reason why I want him to be added. Number 9 is Sylvia Winfield and Mr. Winfield. So why the hell are these two above everyone else? I find them hilarious in the very short-lived kind of span on The Simpsons. So, these two used to be the guys who lived in the Brown House. Now, some people disagree with this, but the wiki lists them as Brown House residents. Their house does look very similar to the Brown House, but the main reason why I've got them on the list is this. The Brown House that they're I haven't got the screenshot with me, but I'll show you one day. I imagine. I think I showed it on one of my tapped out ideas videos. But basically, there is a brown house that they live in this brown house, but the brown house does look quite different. So my theory here is they could add another brown house to add to our collection of brown houses, with the Winfield, and so they can call it the Winfield Brown House. And we get Mr. Sylvia Winfield, who is this kind of like neighborhood snitch type, and then we have Mr. Winfield, who just seems like a kind of an old senile dude. And yeah, Sylvia, I think, is the better of the two, obviously, but Mr. Winfield could be added nonetheless. I think, obviously, if you were to add them, they'd be a perfect pair to add together. So yeah, Mr. Sylvia Winfield and Mr. Winfield is number 9. Number 8 is George Bush Sr. So, I love the episode that he's in. I think it's a great episode, obviously, when George Bush Sr. moves in next door. Now, of course, the house that he moves into has already been added into the game. It's been added in the game for a long time. But regardless, I would love George Bush Sr. in the game. Now, recently, well, not recently, but last year anyway, the real life George Bush Sr. unfortunately passed away. So I think there is a chance that there's going to be a buffer zone, because I don't think they're going to add him anytime soon. Sorry. Same with Barbara Bush, but I doubt they'll add them because out of respect. At the same time, though, The Simpsons has a tendency to only add dead presidents. So the presidents they add are normally dead presidents. So, I hate to say this, but in his death, there may be a chance that we will get him in the game. I think they're probably going to leave it a few more years before if they were to add him. But man, would I love him in the game, because I think the episode he has is great. And if they wanted to, they could give a tribute to the president. Now, Simpsons is a very liberal show, so it'd be very nice, I guess, you know, it'd be a nice sentiment if they were to give some sort of tribute to George Bush Sr. and add him as a character in the game. Now, I'm not sure on the legality of all of it, obviously. I'm not sure really. I mean, if the Simpsons put him in the show, though, I don't see why they couldn't add him in the game. Like, I'm sure that George Bush Jr. is not gonna sue or anything. Man, I just really want him in the game. He's definitely the coolest president out of all the presidents that appeared in The Simpsons. I should probably say that. He's not the coolest president ever. I mean, out of all the presidents that have appeared in The Simpsons, I think he's the best. So, yeah, I would like him added. And 4th of July is obviously the perfect update to add him. But we'll have to see. Number 7 is Bill and Marty. Of course, these are the KBBL radio hosts. Now, they should have been added with the KBBL studios. Really should have. Recently, I watched an episode where there's a KBBL van, so an actual a news van, and of course there's the kind of on-the-go stand they have as well that I've kind of talked about a few times. Now, in that kind of episode where we see the van, it's the episode, I'm trying to think what episode it is. It's the episode with the reporter with the whole volcano going off. I was doing an update idea on that. That will be I won't upload it for a while, but there is, in that episode I actually saw that there's a KBBL van. Another great potential thing that they could be added with. I'm grasping at straws here, guys, because there was a perfect building they could have been added with, and of course that's the KBBL studio, but they went and gave us that as a friend prize for some weird reason. I've wanted these guys in the game for a long time. It makes perfect sense. They're two characters that really should have been added a while ago. It's crazy that they're not in the game yet to me. So yeah, Bill and Marty definitely should be added. I'm hoping sometime soon. What update they will be added in, I've given so many examples that I find it impossible sometimes. Every time there's a rate, like the elephant episode, for example, they could be added in. Man, they're homeless. The Thanksgiving episode I talked about, they could be added in. Even in this new update I've got with the whole reporter, the reporter episode, the female reporter that obviously takes place to that whole volcano, they can add them in there as the premium prize. So it would be fine. Just throw them in there. So yeah, like I said, I've talked about them so much, so let's move on. Number 6 is of course Richard, as I talked about when I said about Jaffee. He's a kid we've wanted in the game for a while, and I do think it's going to happen soon, so I think I can be eliminating him from this list very soon. I imagine we will get him in an update to come, so yeah, that's Richard. Number 5 is Apu's Octuplets. I've wanted these in the game for a long time too. Now, we have them, of course, as animations. So with both Manjula and Apu, they both have animations where you can obviously see the octuplets. I just don't think that's good enough. We have Maggie, we have Gerald, we have Kearney's other son. We need the octuplets in the game, and I think it'd be perfect if they just gave us them as a kind of 8-in-1 character. It makes sense. I know they are all individually named, but I just don't think there's enough there to give them all tasks. The only other thing I can see them doing is just gender segregating them, and they could do like Apu's female octuplets and Apu's male octuplets. I mean, if they want to do that, but I'd be probably more happy if they were just one massive character. They could give them us individually. I just think if they were to do that, they would be spread out across updates, because they're not going to give us 8 characters, unless, like in a mini event, for example. They're not going to give us 8 full playable characters in a mini update, and I think that's the reason why they've not been added for a while. And there might be a reason why they might not add them is there's 8 of them. It's just a lot of them, and it's kind of hard. But what I'm proposing is a 8-in-1 character. It's never been done before in Tapped Out, but I think it's very plausible, and they definitely could do it, and I hope they do one day. So yeah, Apu's Octuplets. 4, Eddie Muntz. Now, he's actually taken a back a little bit. He's taken a position back because I have a new number 2 spot. But I still want Eddie Muntz in the game so badly. And it's weird. He is like my Sarah Wiggum. Originally, like I used to go on about how I really wanted Sarah Wiggum added, and then they added her. The reason why I want Eddie Muntz so bad is this. I like the episode with him and Nelson, but I just think there's so much there to do with. Like, there was so much potential with that 22 for 30, was it called? Or whatever it was. Where we got Anger Watkins. There was a great potential to add Eddie Muntz in the game there, but they didn't do. There's been, like, a Father's Day update would be perfect for Eddie Muntz as well. Like, if they were to do the Real Dads of Springfield, they could give us, you know, they could give us those two characters if they want. They could throw Eddie Muntz in the mix as well. I just have wanted Eddie in the game for a while. I think a Father's Day update is perfect, or if they were to do just an episode based around, an update based around his episode, I think there's enough there. Obviously, there's like this traveling circus, and they could give us obviously Eddie, and they could throw some things from the past, like him on his motorbike that you see him on, and things like that. Yeah, he's a character I've wanted in the game for a long time. I think they definitely have loads of potential with him, and I just like his character. You know, he's like, it's like this whole really ridiculous thing that he went out for, like, you know, the whole stereotypical where he went out for a pack of cigarettes, or he went out to get some milk and he never came back. But it turns out he went out to go get that stuff, and he ate a peanut butter bar and got an allergic reaction, and then he got taken to a traveling circus. This is like this bizarre ass scenario, and I just love it. There's something about his character that's really, really funny to me. So yeah. Number 4, Eddie Muntz. Number 3 is, of course, Gil. Now, yes, we have Gil in the game technically at times when he comes to give us a deal. What I'm proposing is they just give us to him, and then the Gil's deal can just become an in-store thing. Like, it doesn't, like, what's to say we have to have Gil with the whole question mark? Like, it doesn't need to happen. And then any characters who don't have Gil, then obviously he'll be walking around the town like Sideshow Bob does. So obviously Sideshow Bob used to be a character that would just run around the town, you tap him and you get some cash. And then obviously they added the Terwilliger update, and in the Terwilliger update you got Sideshow Bob. And actually, after that, it turned out, so if you had Sideshow Bob, then that never happened anymore. He didn't run around the town. But if you didn't have Sideshow Bob, he still runs around the town. I'm not sure if they've removed that as of yet, but I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that still happens, that he still runs around the town if you don't have him. So same thing with Gil. He will just, if you have him, then you won't get him walking around the town with the question mark above him. But if you don't have him, then he will be walking around with the question mark above his head. Yeah, and then if you have him and there's a Gil's deal on, it will just be an in-store Gil's deal. You'll just get a notification popping up with the Gil's deal. I mean, I don't see what's the problem with that. So there's they definitely could add him, and I think the perfect way to add him is a Gil's deal. I mean, like, why not? He's selling himself. He's got to rock bottom. I think there is a chance that maybe if God forbid Tapped Out was to end, that I think they would end it with a Gil's deal of Gil selling himself. I think that would be kind of a ironic way to end the game, a funny way to end the game. That's just my opinion. Like, end updates. I don't mean like shut down the servers and no one can go on the game again. But if they were to, like, say the final update, and then after the final update they were to be like, okay, we've had all the updates, now Gil is giving us a deal and he's selling himself. In some ways, I think that would be a perfect way to end the game if they had to, for any reason. So maybe it's worth holding off on Gil just to get that perfect ending. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely would like Gil in the game. And anyway, number 2, this is my new spot. Mod Flanders. So originally I wanted her to be a costume for the mod Ghosts. In recent months though, I have completely hated that idea. I hate myself that I ever thought that. Because we have got to the point now that we have loads of doppelgangers and things like that. Plus, Mod's Ghost, yeah, it would be better if it was a costume for Mod Flanders. But at this point, we have future characters, we have, all this. I think we can get away with just getting Mod Flanders as a full character. Also, I would argue that Mod's Ghost in the show is different to Mod Flanders alive. So, in some ways, they're kind of a different character anyway. So, yeah, I would love Mod Flanders in the game as a character. I think it's kind of crazy that she's not been added as a full character yet. She's one of the biggest characters in The Simpsons. I mean, her death is quite infamous in the show. And also, I completely forgot, she was killed at the Springfield Speedway. What a like, it's a great building as well. That's a building I've wanted in the game for a while. So hell, there is a perfect matchup there. Maud Flanders with the Springfield Speedway. Why not add her with the building she died at? It makes kind of sense to me. So yeah, I think there's a perfect matchup there. I definitely would love Maud in the game. I've wanted her for a while, like the full version of her. And what better update than a Ned Flanders update or a Christian themed update? And that is where, yeah, it's one of my other updates coming up. So you'll see that. But yeah, Maud Flanders. I've got loads of update ideas. The kind of the new pandemic going around has made me make a lot of update ideas. So yeah, Maud Flanders, number 2. Anyway, so number 1. There's no even point in having a drum roll. You guys know, if you're familiar with these lists, that of course my number 1 is Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure. They're never going to be added. I can probably say that with some conviction, I guess, some truthfulness, some hand, like maybe a finger on my heart, maybe not the hand on the heart, but a finger on my heart, that I don't think they'll ever be added. And there is one good reason why they can't be added, is they've been retired from the show since the 90s. Now, of course, if anyone doesn't know, and I've said this like a million times, the reason why they were both retired, and also Lyle Lanley was retired, the reason for this was because, of course, Phil Hartman, the voice of both Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure and Lyle Lanley, and a few other kind of mini characters in there, the actor died. So, and he was actually murdered by his ex-wife or his wife. I don't know if it was ex-wife or wife, but murdered. And because of that, they retired the characters. Now, it's not just that. It's also the fact that no one can replicate these two characters. They are awesome. They are, like, honestly, these two are two of my favorite characters from the show. Lionel Hutz, I would say more so, but Troy McClure is cool too. Lionel Hutz is so freaking hilarious. He's definitely one of the funnier characters, the funny kind of guest stars. And of course, that's the main reason why I want them both added. The reason why I've lumped them together is they're not going to be added for the same reason. Also, they would always be number 1 and number 2. So I just lumped them together as one thing. Yeah, but they won't be added, I don't think. But like, we can all dream. We can all dream. So yeah, that is it for the top 20 characters they need to add. So yeah, tell me your thoughts on which characters you would like, if any I missed that you would like to see. I do have a few kind of extras that, like number 21. I would say probably number 21 would be Charlie from the power plant, because he's kind of a regular face that appears quite a lot. But yeah, that is my video. Thanks for watching. Tell me your thoughts, like I said, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.